An old woman became a millionaire with only 2 cows and a swing set. Lucretia, a woman in her old age, still had the spirit of a young woman. She had the energy of a person much younger than herself, and a willpower that many would like to have. Her life had been full of stories. When she was young, she left home one day with just enough to survive for a week. She spent several months traveling, making ends meet each day with the little money she earned from making necklaces and handles. Still, she was very happy because she was getting to know different cultures and broadening her horizons. After 8 months of traveling, she decided it was time to return home. When she returned, she found that her parents had not forgiven her for leaving, and decided that if she had lived her independence for 8 months and had survived, she might as well be independent now that she had returned, and they would not let her come back to live with them. She was very hurt that her parents didn't understand her journey and wouldn't give her another chance with them. But she soon realized that it had been the best thing for her future. She then continued to sell her necklaces and bracelets, and since they already knew her in her village and knew she was a reliable young woman, some jewelry stores and variety stores began to place small orders for her handicrafts. Soon, she was able to rent her own house and furnish it to her liking, and decided it was time to enter college. Because of her great love for the countryside and nature, she decided to study agronomy. From very early on, she dreamed of owning her own farm, dedicating herself to it, and making a living from it. Very soon, she met Mauricio, with whom she not only shared classes, but also life ideals. They became inseparable. They were soon married as they felt they had no reason to postpone it. Mauricio was a young man from a good family and had enough money to buy a house to live in with his beloved Lucretia. It was then that they thought that just as they had not postponed their marriage, they had no reason to postpone their dreams and ideals, and instead of having a house in town, they bought a farm. Lucretia and Mauricio were happy from the beginning, and from their happiness together, Nicholas and Marcella were born. Neither of them could imagine a better life. A happy couple with 2 healthy and strong children surrounded by the nature they had dreamed of. In their first years together, they worked as farmers. They had earmarked their land to produce fruits and vegetables of the best quality. They were very conscious that their work was done with love and with a great feeling of solidarity. They were soon recognized in the village as the farmers with the best products at the best prices. Their motto was never to earn more than what was fair and never to take advantage of their buyers. Little by little, the farm needed more workers, and their business grew stronger and stronger. The family obtained their entire livelihood from the farm. They also had a small chicken yard and some cows that provided them with meat, eggs, and milk. Meanwhile, Nicholas and Marcella, when they were not studying, had free time to play in that yard with swings next to the cowshed. They had never been interested in farm work, nor did they need it, since they had people who did everything for them. Lucretia and Mauricio did not know until some time later that the lack of discipline and of teaching their children to work would have serious consequences. As the children became teenagers, they became more interested in the town and the city, and less interested in being on the farm. They told their parents that it was unfair to force them to stay away from civilization. They never really felt a sense of belonging to their home. Between work and worrying about their children's attitudes, Mauricio's health began to decline. It was difficult to get him to eat enough, and he spent long hours brooding in the evenings. He complained of a terrible depression that made his whole body ache. It was then that the doctors started to visit the farm, but they would leave without knowing what was wrong with Mauricio, even though they realized that what needed attention was not his body, but his mind. It was too late to save him, and Mauricio's life was consumed like a candle. Lucretia suffered greatly. After a few days of insomnia, anxiety, and pain, she gained strength of spirit and continued with her work. After overcoming such a hard blow, she knew that nothing could bring her down. A couple more years passed. Their children had already left home to study in the city. They were both interested in management and wanted to be entrepreneurs, but they didn't want to have to start from scratch like their parents. They wanted to manage something that would be profitable right from the start. When they finished their studies, they realized that what they wanted was within their reach: the farm. They told their mother that from now on they would be the administrators of the place. Lucretia, who had worked hard to make her business come to life, did not want to give it to them. She did not want to cede it. But opposing it did not help her much in the face of the obstinacy of her ungrateful children, because through a series of legal tricks, they managed to leave their mother out of the business and began the procedures to move the company to a larger field. When she found out what they had done, she wanted nothing more to do with them. They also wanted to take her to a nursing home, something that for a woman who had lived free all her life would have been the cause of certain death. So, she stayed there in her farm, now abandoned and with only 2 cows that her children left her, thinking that they would be free of responsibilities to devote themselves to their business. And as Lucretia knew since her husband died that nothing could stop her, she had a great idea. While sitting on the swing and watching the cows in her barn, she, who had a lifetime of experience in agriculture, thought that cattle raising would not be much different, and at least she could continue to live as she wished in the midst of nature. So with her personal savings, she bought products, an extra cow, and a bull, and started to produce cheese and sell fruits and vegetables. Her delicious and affordable cheese quickly became famous. Sometime later, when she had more calves and more cows, her cheese business was joined by the sale of meat. And Lucretia, strong and persistent as she was, soon had a cheese and meat company of the highest quality. She made better profits than the declining business run by her sons, who had thought it would be easier. When they understood that only a company that has been sweated and suffered for can continue to be successful, and that their mother was a multi-millionaire woman full of life, and nothing could be taken away from her. If you liked this story, please like and share it with your friends and family.